Every now and then, there is a quote-unquote buzz camera that gets announced and released. This time around, over the past year, it has clearly been the Canon R5C. As a Sony and Red shooter primarily, I wanted to see what the R5C is all about. But instead of me making a bunch of films and saying, hey, it's good at this and good at that, I've decided to do a bit different of an approach this time and let you decide. So here's where I'm at with these four cameras. The Sony system is the one that I shoot all of my stills on. This one right here is the A74 because it's the newest Sony full-frame camera I decided to test against these other ones. I use the Alpha 1 as a stills body. When I went and picked up the R5C just a couple weeks ago, one of the big things I wanted to see is, could I use this as a stills body and as a video body? Because as good as the Alpha 1 is at stills, and it really is just the business with stills, it's not hugely robust with all of its video features. The R5C really solves that. This, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, is the first true hybrid mirrorless camera that really has ever existed. And the thinking behind that is, most of the other mirrorless cameras that have come down the pike from all manufacturers thus far, with the exception of maybe the Panasonic S1H, have been high-quality stills cameras that also shoot video. The R5C is kind of the opposite. It's Canon's most compact, in some ways most capable cinema camera that you can also flip over and shoot high-quality stills with. So I was pretty interested to try it out. And I thought, well, what better way to do it than to put it against the Alpha 1. And I have a video that I'm working on right now that shows what my thoughts are between the R5C and the Alpha 1 for stills. And this one is going to be comparing it on video against the Red Komodo, which is what I do a lot of my luxury real estate and commercial video production work on, is the Red Komodo. The A74, which, again, I have a lot of Sony bodies, so I just picked the one that was the newest one to put up against these other ones. And the Pocket 6K, which is kind of an odd man out. And I had used the Pocket 6K for a while, shooting interiors and a few commercial things, and don't really use it that much anymore, but I wanted to see how it was going to compare to these other three. So without further ado, I set up a studio shot right back there, used the same lens on all of them, which is the Canon 16-35 EF mount, because I can adapt it. It's either native or I can adapt it across all of these, and just gave it a go. Tell me which ones you think are which, and then also, if if you were to have an A cam and a B cam between these 4 cameras, so I like A and I like C, for instance, tell me which one you would like with that too. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to find a mate to the red Komodo without buying another red Komodo. So I had been shooting the Komodo along with the DSM-C2 Dragon X, and that made a great A and B cam, but you know, they're different enough that, and for other reasons, I decided to sell the DSM-C2 cameras. Red's not going to be supporting them a whole lot anymore. I kind of wanted to get away from EF mount and into the RF because those are the newest, most exciting, really fantastic lenses. So anyway, I want to use the red Komodo as my A cam for commercial work, and I want to know which one of these 3 here will match it best. I have my thoughts, but let's see what you think. So I hope you got something from this. I think what I got from it was the odd camera out is the Pocket 6K. It has such a look, and it was the only one of the 4 cameras that I think stood out, and in not really a great way. It stood out because the my black t-shirt had IR pollution on it, so it looked kind of brownish, and that's something that the Blackmagic cameras are pretty well known for, is not really controlling that infrared spectrum. So I saw the IR pollution on my t-shirt. Other than that, I think it was really hard to tell the other cameras apart. So let me tell you what my process was, because I know that there's always going to be people that say, oh, you should have done this or you should have done that, right? I had a key light, which is a Generay Radiance 230. I had another light that was just bringing up the whole room, which is another Generay Radiance 230. I used my Sekonic C800 color meter to measure the light coming off of the key, and it was 5800 Kelvin and change. And what I did is I set all of the white balances on all of the cameras to 5800 Kelvin, as close as I could get it, because some of their abilities to do exactly are different than others. So I set them all to around 5800. I then used the color meter that was right over my right shoulder there as a target in post to adjust the white balance as good as I could between them. And then I just worked with them like I would, tried to match them together as best I can, tried to make it difficult to see which camera is which, to see if in a commercial setting, which is how I would be working with them, am I able to quickly match these cameras to each other without putting too much effort in it? If I were sitting there twiddling with it for hours, I probably could have got them closer, but this is pretty quick and dirty. Sometimes it was non-destructive steps that I was doing, like for instance with the red and the IPP2 workflow, you're working all in the raw. The same thing with the Blackmagic, you can work a lot within the raw. Sometimes it was more destructive, so like CINE match makes LUTs, and I used that on the R5C to try to tweak it over kind of to the red colors a little bit, and then grade it by hand a little bit from there. So tell me what you think. Which 2 would you keep as A cam and B cam? And I hope you got something from it. See ya.